Okay, go ahead, John.
Okay, good morning, Niskayuna. It is February 2nd, our second Economic Development Committee meeting of the year. And I would first like to welcome our new town historian, Mrs. Rita Ogburn McCall. It's a pleasure to have you. And we have a new deputy supervisor as well, which is very nice. Always good to have some fresh people with perspectives on our town committees. And do we have anything from the public this morning?
I do not. I just checked. I didn't get anything yesterday or this morning. I'll go around the room quickly too. We've got Matt Yetto, Alina Finnan, Beth Greenwood, Jamie Puccioni, Chairman Delarada, Helen Walsh, myself, Trish Bergami, and Rita Ogburn McCall.
Very good. And that brings us to the minutes of January 5th, 2024. If everybody's had a chance to look at that, do we have a motion to approve?
I'll second.
Okay, all right.
The only comment I got is spelling the supervisor's first name correctly.
I noticed that.
Very good.
I'm very old.
I learned the
I'm
hard way
flexible.
on the first time. I thought,
So many ways to spell it. I'm just like, oh, well.
yeah.
Oh no, we should always get that right.
Yeah, it's all of them.
Right here. It's very, very top. I didn't catch it either.
That being said, are there any other additional amendments to be made to those minutes? And all in favor? Very good. That's unanimous minus my abstention because I was not present for that meeting. And that brings us to the resolutions.
Okay, so we have a pretty, I think, quick batch of resolutions for the next town board meeting. I have a resolution amending the 2020 TDE rates. Clark and I have been using Prime Engineering, Doug Cole. He's done great. We're very happy with him. We've also been using Weston and Sampson, and we've been using, I think, MJ. But Prime is changing its name, and we're very specific with our TDE rates. So he wanted to send a contract under a new name, and I said, you can't. You have to send your contract under the Prime, and then he asked, and so he did. That was for the GE contract, but he asked if we can amend the TDE rates to add the new firm name. And I said he has to send us a new sheet, a rate sheet with on the letterhead of the new firm name. But that's fine with me if you guys don't mind.
Very good.
It wasn't something that I'd ever heard before. And then the second one is a resolution recognizing the service of former town historian Dennis Brennan. I know Rita was working on that. Bill came by and shared some stuff that Joe Drescher was working on for it. So I'm confident that'll be ready if anybody had anything to add on that one.
That's great. Good teamwork.
All right.
And then this one, I'm super excited about the resolution awarding an RFP for the comprehensive plan update consultant services. The comprehensive plan RFP went out a week or two ago. I reached out to CDRPC, who is our regional planning commission. They're amazing. They gave me a list of a bunch of firms to give it to. I know them all directly. And then they put me in contact with Upstate New York APA that sent an email out to all planning members within Upstate New York. So I think that's and they put it on their website, which is awesome. So I think that that's maybe the farthest I've ever gotten an RFP to go. We have a virtual meeting for people who are interested in bidding on Monday at 11 a.m. And I've already got 4 people who have asked to come. So that's great.
Great.
And I was just checking the budget. Beth, I don't know, you probably don't know this off the top of your head, but I believe that we put 30,000 in.
I'd have to double check, but I know it was around that.
I was looking at the budget for 2024, and I think we reduced the regular planning services to 8,000 and then put 30 in for RFP because the budget there is 38.
I think you're right. I
So,
just wanna check
yeah,
the notes.
I was gonna ask you, but if you can check your notes, because I want to make sure I have that solid number on Monday. And then lastly, a resolution appointing a chair for the Historic Preservation Committee. Every year, so, well, we've only had the Historic Preservation Committee for 1 year, but we've done a resolution from the town board appointing the chair. And that was the town historian, so I'm proposing to do a resolution appointing Rita Fern McCall as the chair for the Historic Preservation Committee.
Different than normal.
It is different, yes, so she has a lot of committees. You have the Historic Committee, Historical Committee, and then you have the Historic Preservation Committee. And the Historic Preservation Committee is the one that we adopted the law for. And they're the ones that review the demolition permits and make sure that the homes don't have historic value before they're removed. Which we didn't think that the Historic Preservation Committee was gonna have that much work to do, but they ended up having a lot more than we thought they would. So, yeah, we definitely need to do that resolution.
All right. And I think that brings us to Mr. Wall.
Yep, and as I go through this, Laura's gonna pull up a couple things, to give some background information on some new projects. Recently completed actions from the planning board, Metro Ford, we updated their signage, their building permit came in with something different than we previously approved, so we had an amended resolution in our early January meeting. For Balltown Road, 1430, that's the future Iskuna Central School District building, we approved that application. And for 2333 Knott Street East, that's a tenant change to market 32, so that's all approved, so they can get their building permit. So I don't know if they have or not yet, but they can get started. Working on.
We did it yesterday.
Yeah, yes, sir.
I don't know if you can see it. There's a giant roll on the desk like this big.
Okay. Things that are active, 2890 River Road. We approved the sketch plan application. We made our secret determination and held a public hearing on January 22nd. And we have a tentative resolution for approval for that minor subdivision at our February 12th meeting. And it was interesting. We had no speakers at the public hearing, either online or present in person. We did get a petition of neighbors, right, regarding
Where the walking.
support for the walking path. That was about it. Very quiet.
Excellent.
All right. And new projects, and this is where Laura will jump in. Balltown Road, 2690, that's the GE Training Center, GE Vernova, a new building. You want to pull up that?
Oh, yep, I can. Well, actually, before we go to GE Vernova though, we talked about this a lot and I just want everybody in the EDHP meeting to look at it really quick. This is still 2890 River Road. It went basically to a 3-lot subdivision and they're proposing to deed this area to the town here. This is where we have a sewer line. This is where there's a drainage channel. This is where if we do our drainage wide study for this area, we may want to do when we do our drainage wide study, it'll help for us to own this land because there may be some recommendations for this area that'll help with overall drainage. So we're proposing for the town board to accept that as lot 4. And the other thing, which we talked about a little bit at the meeting last night, but did finally get worked out, is that we're proposing, this is labeled lot 5, but we're actually just gonna label it, land to be deeded to the town, 3,595 square feet. And I think the best thing to do is we will do, as long as the town board accepts it, we'll do a lot combination super fast so that this never really exists as a single lot and becomes part of River Road Park. And this is the path that was discussed last time and was a point of contention with the CAC and the developer for a little while. Soft diplomacy worked out. Everybody's okay, and they're going to do a direct deed to the town for this path, and that will help with connectivity and achieve comprehensive plan objectives. And the planning board was very supportive of that, which I'm thankful for. And so we worked through it. So that's gonna hopefully come. I don't know the exact timing, and I would imagine, Lena, that has to be a resolution from the town board to accept those lands.
Yeah, I'll say about it.
So I doubt that that'll be ready by the end of February, but I think we should put it on there tentatively just in case.
That'd be a condition of our resolution. No?
Yeah,
course.
So it's a 3-lot subdivision
Mhm.
with 1 lot going to the town?
One lot and one sort of piece that's gonna be part of River Road Park.
Okay.
It's almost
The
like
land, the one that's going to the town isn't one of the 3 lots. Those are separate.
Yes, so there's no potential for this turning into a 4-lot subdivision or,
No, and
I-
actually, it was kind of interesting because I don't even always think like this, but the developer was actually a little afraid to give us the, you know, the 4th lot because he
Yes.
was worried that the town would turn around and sell it to someone and put a fence on it, which we never do. But, you know, I don't even think, I mean, I try to put myself in their shoes, but I mean, we don't do that. But,
Yeah.
so, you know, he wanted a deed or, you know, something in there that says the town wouldn't use it, you know, for development, but that's fine.
sure.
Yeah.
Very good.
Yeah, it's almost like a lot line adjustment for that little piece, basically adding
Yeah.
it to the park, you know.
Mhm. And will that be, usable? Good usable space, we think, for the town?
Really?
Well, it's a walkway already, so
Yeah.
it'll be the walkway.
Sure.
The walkway is usable.
Okay,
The other area is mostly wetlands, and then will hopefully help us in the future if we're doing drainage improvements in the area.
And access to our sewer line.
Mhm. And we did talk about that being parkland because they work so much with us. The path is huge. It's a big, benefit to the town. And I mean, this is a lot of area. It's 1.92 acres. It's just mostly wetlands, but it's super useful to us, so.
excellent.
All right, and so you can.
Okay, TE, the road that you go. Yeah.
Again, these are new projects, so we haven't even seen the agenda statements on this stuff yet, come out next package.
So this is the entrance to the upper GE project, GE split. The planning board, like Kevin had said, finished the subdivision a week, maybe a month ago. And so the north part of the GE campus is now entirely owned by GE Vernova. They're attacking the Balltown Road entrance that's very far away from the road that you really can't see. And they are proposing to add a new building in yellow. So this is their existing training building. That's their existing office building maybe. And the new building in yellow would go right on the end here. And they're proposing it as mostly workspace. So not like adding new employees or anything. This is a project that they're working on. It is, I believe, 54 feet high, so it would need an area variance from the zoning board of appeals, high bay. Matt, you were at that meeting with them, right? But not a lot of offices and not a lot of additional like discharge to the sewer. I think they said like 2 bathrooms. So it's mostly working space.
Yeah, the workers would primarily use the existing facilities.
And it's exciting to see GE investing in the town of Niskayuna. That makes us happy. We were concerned about how much would be going into the trunk line. But met with them and it sounded like it was okay.
Yeah.
Rita, I was gonna talk to you about this. We can talk about it later, but they have this little square that came up. I think it's this somewhere, I can't remember. Or maybe it was even this meeting. And it's like the outline of a foundation, and I don't know if it's something that that SHPO wants them to restore. It's called. They're proposing an environmental easement to the state about it. So, when we get a chance, maybe you and I can just look at that and see if there's anything further that we want to say about it. But that'll just come with the review.
Yeah.
It's very encouraging. We'll see GE's continued commitment in this community.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yep, that'll be good. And one thing we did say is that we sort of would like a long range plan from them if possible, so that we can kind of figure out what's happening with them and then look at our sewer line. It's really hard to get something up like that out of GE. But Clark is trying, so if anybody can do it, we know that Clark can do it. Do you have anything to add to that?
No, just that, you know, it's hard, but the last application you had for that building, right off of River Road there, we kind of pushed that through the best we could, and then they didn't build the building up there, you know. We started having a fire drill there, so things change with funding, so on and so forth, so. No, the biggest concern for the planning board will be, you know, how much of it is office space, and, you know, will it contribute to traffic also on both. Once we get through that, I think it'll be okay. Otherwise, you know, since it's far enough off the road, I don't see a problem recommending a height variance as a location.
Very good.
2219 Knott Street, I believe it was a nail salon down there next to co-op. So we got it's like a new application for Be Inspired, a home gift and garden shop, relocating from New Schenectady.
Yep.
Upper Union, yeah. And 2754 Aqueduct Road, this is also new Jackson demolition. It looks like they have a tenant, Warren Tire for indoor storage, so we need to see what's going on there and whether, the zoning supports that and so on and so forth. So that's all new. And I don't have any information. It's a work in progress right now. 2501 Troy Skyter Road, that's a Capital District Jewish Holocaust Memorial. As you know, I think we already gave them one site plan extension. So it looks like they're looking for a second, which I would support. I'm sure they're doing some fundraising. It's pretty expensive, so it's going to take some time to raise the funds to get there. And then 2475 Brookshire Drive, Tall Oaks, looks like there's new signage coming in, and a lot line adjustment at 850 Oregon Ave, 875 Stark Ave. Again, I haven't seen, the basis for that or what the plan is and whether there's any area variances required to support that or not yet. I won't bother going through waiting from the applicants. I will drop 2861 Troy Road. That's a Brookdale replacement of the pod with a shed because we got enforcement action against them and it seems like they just want to come in and close in and that. So we'll drop that from a planning board perspective. And I know Clark was going to try last meeting to get a hold of a golf club to see whether or not, they're done. Not that that's happened or not yet.
No.
Yeah. See where they stand. Pull their application and shut it down or but still lingering out there. That's all I got.
Very good.
Yeah. Zoning board has 5 cases for February, all residential area variances. The grants update, we've been meeting regularly with Beth and the supervisor and Matt and Ray. The planning action items are that we were trying to get a big bid package out for Lions Park, the decks this summer. That's the last item in the first Phil Stack Parks grant, I believe. So Clark reached out to Jim following that meeting and is trying to start a bid package for that deck. And then the critical pedestrian grant, I did find that there's one final invoice that needs to be paid. And then I'm gonna work on submitting that for reimbursement. Complete Streets has a meeting today and they are gonna work on setting up their 2024 goals and priorities that worked really well for them last year. That helped when we were meeting with the state and everything. So they're gonna set up their 2024 goals. And then they're giving us an update today on the transportation chapter of the comprehensive plan. The tree council has been requesting a meeting with the town to help get more trees planted next year. I think Clark and both Clark and I have talked to Ray about it. He's open to it, so we just need to get it scheduled. And I know Beth was there too. We were talking to Beth about it. So if I can get that scheduled for them, that would be great. I know they really, really want to talk. The Conservation Advisory Council, Climate Smart Communities Task Force, Dart's not able to be here today. I talked to him yesterday. He wanted to let everybody know that, or thanks the town board for awarding the consultants for the NRI and the greenhouse gas inventory and climate action plan. I spoke with Jim, who is the person who we awarded the greenhouse gas inventory to, and he's putting a schedule together for me, and he's going to send a contract soon, so we should be able to get that moving. And then Ashok is the one that runs the NRI part, and he was copying me on emails too. And that's also a Jim, actually. Maybe I'm mixing them up, but to the NRI consultant that is out of Connecticut. And then the only planning project they have to review at their next meeting, which is next Wednesday, is the GE building. I didn't think any of the other ones needed to review. Any questions on that? I'm going really fast.
That's all right.
Architectural Review Board, Clark let me know that Tom has sent a couple building department projects to the ARB. So they don't rise to the level of the planning board or they're on private, individual property, but they're big buildings. So he referred them to the ARB to see if the ARB could just make sure that they fit in with the neighborhood.
Residential.
Mm-hmm. And then the Comprehensive Plan Committee, as I said, looking to award the RFP at the end of February. Really excited about the meeting on Monday. And the other thing that I'm working real hard today, I was working with Aaron Cassidy Doran a little bit on it this week, is to release the public input survey. One thing that came up before, when I was ready to release it electronically from Leslie, is that we need to have paper copies available, and then Aaron and I were brainstorming like how we can have paper copies available with the least barriers to accessibility and whatever. And so what we were thinking of doing is putting them downstairs in the lobby, and this was Aaron's idea, putting like just a box down there with a slot in it so they could fill out the survey, put it in the box. They actually don't even have to interact with anybody at town hall, because sometimes town hall can make people nervous. And then we can collect their comments that way. So Trish and I might be working on building boxes today, because I really want to get the survey out if we can today. It was a really good idea. I appreciated her help on that. And then, yep, so this did go to enforcement, Upstate Guns and Ammo, and the Brookdale Senior Living. Believe they're both notice and ordered at this point, so we just have to follow those timelines and then possibly send more information to Elena, at least. She's been getting several of them from us recently. Cleaning department has been, this is mostly Clark, been working on the drainage analysis and coordination with the water, sewer, engineering, and highway. We had a couple really good internal meetings on that, and our next steps, and I believe all of the districts have been combined now, right?
Yes.
We finished that last year. That's great. And so we're working on the RP, maybe? Clark's been working on the process maps of the common planning department processes, and that's something that the planning board has requested, with timelines and maybe some updated forms. There hasn't been any progress on the Council Road sidewalk or the Rennie Road easement, which is gonna make complete street sad, but I'll keep it on the list until it gets done.
Is that streets agenda for discussion today?
No. So Council Road, I don't know if you guys remember any. Yeah, there's only like $2,000 in it. It doesn't even cover survey. So the last thing that I talked with the engineer about was maybe just doing a concept drawing without survey. Just something that you can sell the idea with.
Years ago, was it to connect the sidewalk from Hannaford Plaza, or is that called Michigan?
Union Square.
Michigan Square to Hummingbird. And that's, was a condition of that pool many years ago.
So that sidewalk went in, right? That's the one that goes into Hannaford Plaza from Hummingbird.
Right, on the part way.
Yes,
Right.
and then now the one we're talking about, it would be going towards,
The Ingersoll.
yes, Ingersoll.
Ingersoll has a sidewalk to the edge of its property, and then the sidewalk goes from Hummingbird to Michigan Square. This is that piece in between.
Yes.
Yeah, and you've worked with me on it a couple times before.
Yes, tried with the homeowner and trying to get some cooperation. I believe he does have a level of cooperation, but we just can't get that next step going.
Yeah. Still have them. This is kind of what happens when the money takes sits there for a while, but it just doesn't cover what we needed to cover.
And full disclosure, I'm on the Ingersoll board now. But, so it's important to them too, because a lot of times when they have an event there, people park at Hannaford and walk down Council in the road and get to Ingersoll.
Yeah.
Yeah, because there's such a parking is like that.
I didn't realize they were parking in Hannaford.
So if we were
Only when they have an event.
Sure. Yeah.
if we were gonna get like grant funding or something for it, it's good to know that, because Ingersoll would probably write us a letter of support.
Yeah. Very good.
Okay, and so Supervisor Puccioni is gonna do the Metroplex update.
Oh, yes. I was still pondering that sidewalk issue. I put that on my to-do list.
Yeah, that's
That
been a
sounds pretty
long,
important.
long time.
Focus a lot on children safety.
Yes,
And
exactly.
It's not going to be cheap though, because it has drainage, it has an open swale, which is what was one of the concerns of the.
Yes.
And so he is willing to work with us, but he doesn't want the drainage in the house messed up. And then, I think the right of way is big enough. It's the drainage swale that's hard on there.
And how much property the homeowner would have to surrender, right?
Depending on how it could be
Yes.
engineered, possibly, yeah, we talked about that too. I mean, I think his preference, at least the last time we talked to him, is that he would want screening and no changes to his drainage if possible.
It starts with the survey and the plan, right? And
Yeah.
sure.
Yes.
So that probably set you up the money anyway, so.
Yeah, it has been a long time in the making since I think I've been here.
Well, I think the reason that it didn't get done during development is that like that piece is hard, you know, so the hard stuff gets left.
It's the most expensive, right? Yeah.
Okay, well, yesterday I met with Ray Gillen from Metroplex. We had a really wonderful talk. And I'm happy to share that Metroplex will be investing in the lighting on Knott Street. And yes, and he, you know, is really excited. The goal is for our Knott Street to be our main street. And to help make a placemaking. You know, every time I drive through Glenville and I see their historic lighting and their banners, it just really, you know, inspired me to have something like that here. So Ray was very amenable to that. We'll be starting the next steps and having a designer come and look at the area and then make some recommendations. So we'll just keep pushing forward on that. And, you know, I would love for that to happen in the next, you know, 1 to 2 years. And with Market 32 coming in and Co-op Plaza area, those upgrades, I think together it will make a really nice main street, and we'll just continue to, you know, bring in businesses and make it a very friendly, welcoming space.
Yes. And the event that Broken In had there seemed to be very successful.
Yes.
Community was very involved and that space was very well used. I think is that the first time that we've had some type of community event at the new Co-op Plaza area?
It was like a football watch
Yes.
event.
Yes.
Mhm.
It wasn't really a
High school
town
team.
event, but it
Yeah.
was very well attended.
Mhm.
Absolutely. Yeah. That's great. Good. And it's always a pleasure to work with Mr. Gillen.
Always.
Yes.
He's a good partner.
No question.
Tree Council a couple of times has asked at our meetings if it's possible because there's so much sidewalk and asphalt there. They were wondering, and I know Metroplex had talked about this at one point, I don't know where it went, to put planters out front, like in the Schenectady County part. And like more specifically, like I don't think they think that you can actually put trees in the sidewalks at this point because it was already constructed. But they were talking about like kind of the wide planters that you can still put trees in actually.
Like they have in downtown Schenectady.
Oh, do they have them in downtown?
Oh,
Schenectady?
yeah. Like
So
that.
they had them in the city of Valdez and they would just pick them up on the little forklifts in the winter and move them.
I think they have ordered them
Oh, they have.
and they're just on back order. So
Great.
the furniture that came in was the benches
Mhm.
and the trash receptacles. And I think they did order and we're waiting for them to be delivered was the bike racks and some of the planters.
Okay, great.
But I'll confirm.
Confirm, because the tree council said this and so is CUC actually, when it's hot and people are walking that sidewalk, there's no shade for them. So they're actually hoping that what gets planted is large enough that can make shade, or maybe we should consider shade structures in the summer when when you're walking to those places and it's a hot day. There's really nothing for that, and like they're really like, you know, everybody that I talk to really loves the improvements, and so we're hoping that people will sit and eat ice cream and sandwiches, you know. But if there isn't any shade, it's not going to work.
That's true. Yeah.
And they brought that up to me a couple times. Keep forgetting to mention it.
Trees would be a big plus, but probably not doable, right?
Well, I think you can put, so this one thing in the city of Valdez, they had them in like maybe planters, like, you know, like from where I am to that seam, you know, so it's almost the equivalent of a sidewalk well. And then they, you know, you can move them around on a little forklift.
But the trees can only get so big in those planters,
Yeah,
correct?
get pretty big though. They had spruce trees in them. I mean, they were a good like 10, 15 feet tall.
Oh,
Yeah.
Those are bigger than,
One requirement for that.
Well, this is from Valdez, so, rain's like everything. Yeah, I would think that here you would probably have to water them. If we weren't getting rain, you'd probably have to water them. Maybe once a week. You never have to water anything in Valdez. Never. It's the most northern temperate rainforest in.
But that is something important to consider. So who would be responsible for watering them?
Yeah, so, and I've
We
had
don't want them to die.
a couple of
Yeah.
the, yeah, because then it doesn't work. A couple of the people there, the owners of the buildings there, have asked whose responsibility it is to take the trash. Because they put trash cans up, but I don't think anybody knows whose responsibility it is to take
Oh,
them.
no, that should
Oh,
have,
they
that
do?
was communicated.
Oh, it was?
Mhm.
Is it the
Ray
business owners?
Gillen's team, yeah, David Hogenkamp met with them and informed the business owners that it was the business owner's responsibility to
Okay.
remove the trash. That was part of the agreement to put them there.
That's good for me to know, so then the next time I get that complaint, I will let them know.
Yes, I've spoken with David and Ray about it, and David, most recently, prior to Ray's team putting in the furniture, and that was, David assured me he would communicate that to the business owners, so
Or,
I could confirm that he did that, but
well, if I know it, I can also communicate that to them too. Because that's another thought. They would have to be a party that says yes to the trees, but maybe the business owners could also water the trees. If it's something that they wanted.
in Schenectady, I believe the Downtown Business Improvement District does that.
Water it.
Yeah, separate, because they have a bunch of hanging
yeah,
plants all
Like a
along.
water truck or a truck with.
Yes.
Like a ground and spray. Plants.
But we wouldn't need anything near on that level because we're only talking about a handful.
Yeah.
right?
Or,
Yeah.
yeah,
So it shouldn't be that big of a burden on the business owners if they decide to do it.
for shade and cool.
Absolutely. Yeah. Very good.
I really think it's beautiful over there. Do you have anything, Elena?
Not really, just like you said, we have some enforcement actions in our local court pending. And I told John before the meeting, the deadline for perfecting the appeal on the Bureau Holdings matter is in the middle of February, so I'm not.
Okay.
And I see that a demolition permit was issued and that is all cleared now,
Yeah.
that site?
The foundation, full of the water lines filled in the holes and leveled. One house is left on Van Antwerp,
Is there?
not on Balltown. You won't even really notice the Van Antwerp one because it wasn't in the same condition. It doesn't look particularly abandoned. It's CVS and then there's two homes and then.
Yeah.
It didn't, yeah, that house was in a different category. It wasn't nearly as damaged and abandoned.
Very good.
But we've said this before on the record, no pending planning project, so
Yes,
just flat and should go back.
yes.
If they ever want to do anything, they either have to come back to the planning board or we'll see what happens with the seal.
Come back. There's nothing.
No, and they could, well, if they came with a different project, they could, yeah,
But they don't seem to be able to do that.
not yet.
All right, and I believe that brings us to our historical with Miss Rita Ogburn McCall.
Yeah,
Yes, well, the only thing that I would have to report would be, it's already on the agenda here. You know, that the consultant is selected and the contract is signed. So I have to get in touch with the logo committee and, you know, so we can plan next steps if there are any.
she's, the contractor, their Cinder Design Group, and, she's reaching out to Marie to get a schedule, Rita, and then I'll have her copy you on the schedule.
All right, thank you.
Very good. Is there anything else for the good of the order?
I do not have anything else.
Very good. Okay, seeing that, I will make a motion to adjourn.
I'll second.
All in favor? Aye. And we are adjourned. Thank you.
Thank you.
That was a quick one.
Oh, can I say something? I wanted to thank everyone.